a little much on the towy side, but generally they look more like old welter horses as they parade around, and I think that's quite significant when you consider that some of them have only had 2, 3 and 4 race starts. They really are quite inexperienced. You've only got to look in the race book to see some of the statistics of horses running in other races today, horses that have had 59 or 60 starts. Ken, I think this is a tribute to the people who looked after them, and certainly a tribute to those that initially broke them in and educated them. I don't think I've ever seen a better behaved bunch of Golden Slipper horses pre-race.
Yes, John, they look super. I wonder how the owners and the trainers will behave of the winner when it gets first past the post. I'm sure they'll be very excited. And the significant point so far about betting is that in the betting ring, Justice Prevails has been heavily backed, and at this moment just nudges the filly Bint Masqué for favouritism. On the tote, an even bigger surprise. Punters have stuck with Shane Dye. Less than half his betting ring quote, Danger, Shane Dye's mount, probably because Shane has won the last 4 Golden Slippers, and think of all the publicity that he's had this week. Bint Masqué, surprisingly, is a little easy on the tote, but I assume she'll firm before post time. Let's run through the field. Number 1, Justice Prevails, is showing exactly $5, odds of 4 to 1 on the tote, and that's a pretty fair quote. Number 2, Jetball, a quiet tip amongst Rosehill regulars, to be ridden by Kenny Russell, is at 20 to 1. Pride of Rancho, the winner of the VRC Size Produce Stakes, a bit neglected here. He's at 100 to 1. LA Glen, trained by Clary Connors. He's had the winners the last 2 years. Terse in 1991 and the Great Filly Burst in 1992. LA Glen is a lot longer than either of those horses, and he is at 33 to 1. Moss Rocket from Newcastle, what a fairy tale story if he wins. Trained by the Newcastle Course Carpenter, Kevin Burns, and ridden by Alan Robinson, who was serving beer in a pub at this time last year. Moss Rocket has won the Newcastle Classic and the Brambles Classic at Kembla at his last 2 runs. He's at 8 to 1. Danger, RS Dye. That's why he's so short in the market. He's at 6 to 1, and he is a danger. He'll be rattling home strongly. Will he get too far back? Has he the class to win? Keltreese, Melbourne people think he'll run a lot better than we up in Sydney expect. He's only at 8 to 1. He's ridden by Stephen King, who won the last race, the Queen of the Turf Stakes. Sportsworks, another Melbourne horse and a stablemate of Justice Prevails, to be ridden by the apprentice young M. Evans, and Sportsworks is a roughie at 100 to 1. He'll get a long way back. Land Speed Record, also from Melbourne, might be the best of the roughies. Big odds Land Speed Record, he's at 80 to 1. Trained by a good mate of ours, Jeff Murphy. Jeff has been ill and didn't come up to Sydney. Jeffrey, if you're watching the telecast, good luck to you. I'll be giving Land Speed Record a special cheer. He's ridden by Peter Hutchinson, and Jeff's good mate Jack Denham is looking after the horse up here in Sydney. Capablanca, Grant Cooksley is at 50 to 1. Probably should be 500 to 1. I don't think he's got much hope. Rock Review, a huge tip on course, been well backed in the betting ring, trained here at Rosehill, be very popular if it wins for her local trainer, Barry Lockwood, and it is ridden by Larry Cassidy, and the filly Rock Review is at 6 to 1. Number 12 from Perth, Star of Novell. I've got a liking for this filly. I think she's got a great chance, and she's good odds. Damien Oliver's got the sit. He's formerly of Perth, now stationed in Melbourne. He's impressed by this little nuggety miss, and she is at 9 to 1. Bint Masqué, the popular pick early in betting, will start either favourite or second favourite in the betting ring. Mick Dittman's mount. What a glorious filly she is. She's had only the 3 starts. She's just firming a fraction now. As I said, fancier opening at 6 to 1 on the tote. She's now into $6.50 or odds of 11 to 2. Gem of the West, disappointing a fortnight ago in the Riesling. Her Queensland form is much better. She's at 14 to 1. Chris Muntz, the little Queenslander, is riding her. Fitting, a bit outgraded here, but she will show early speed. Another Jack Denham trained, and she'll start from the outside barrier and will be ridden by the leader of the Sydney Jockeys Premiership, Kevin Moses. Rose's Image is another speedster, but she starts down from barrier 2, and she's out at 50 to 1. She's trained by David Hayes, whose father Colin won this race with Rory's Jester. Staff Sergeant and Sina Bellina were the 2 emergencies, and of course, as you'll probably already know, they did not get a run. John Tapp, as you said, they're a marvellous bunch to look at, and they're now parading in the enclosure.
Ken, they're parading in the enclosure with one exception. A horse called Capablanca loosened a plate during the early part of the parade and has been returned to the stalls to be reshod. Now, that farrier, of course, will be working feverishly to effect the repair quickly, and Capablanca will join the other runners in the parade. By gee, there's a section of crowd in the Fleming stand, and also on the lawn in front of the Fleming stand. We have no figures yet. They were expecting somewhere between 30 and 35,000. It's certainly very healthy. Right, one interested spectator on Golden Slipper Day, the former Prime Minister of Australia, Robert Hawke speaking with Farron Hotham.
Former Prime Minister Mr Hawke, how do you see the Golden Slipper going?
Good race. I'm going for Justice Prevails, number one. I was here a couple of weeks ago when it won, and the time it ran then over this distance would have won any Golden Slipper that's been run in the history of the race. And the way it came home was absolutely fantastic. It was really gobbling up the ground. So if it has any luck in running and can reproduce that form, it should win. But it's not a walkover. There are other chances, but in the end you've got to make a decision, and so I think it's Justice Prevails.
Justice has prevailed. Thank you, Mr Hawke.
Oh, yeah, like it did on the 13th.
Thank you, Mr Hawke. Back to you, Tappy.
And the horse in the red colours with the white diamond that just wandered past the camera following that interview with Bob Hawke was Shane Dye's Mount Danger. Now, speaking of Shane Dye, last Tuesday morning the jockey was kind enough to travel here to Rose Hill for the annual Breakfast with the Stars. He was equipped with a radio microphone, a tape recording device strapped to his back and a lipstick camera attached to his skull cap. He rode a horse called Mountain Rule. He sat in behind another horse called Dream Century, ridden by Johnny Nisbet, and Shane was good enough for Wide World of Sports to take us over, step by step, the Golden Slipper course, and he did it with a great deal of emotion and passion.
Okay, we're here for the Golden Slipper. It's more adrenaline buzz than nerves. Your legs are shaking. You're keen to win the race. I've done all the homework in the world I need to do. I know where every runner's going to be, where I've got to be. The start this year will be very important for myself. Last year on Burst it wasn't, but I must jump and get going. If I don't, it may cost myself the race at the start. Most jockeys are in the gates by now. They're nervous. Billy Dale, the starter here, calls you up to the race. You know, you got one chance all year to win a race like the Golden Slipper. You can't blow it. You're starting to shake.
Just waiting for the start of Billy Dale.
You know you got to win it. It's all that matters is winning, nothing else. You're in the gates, they're tenants beside you. The starter gets up. You're thinking, I must jump and get going. I must jump. Yep. We're off in the Golden Slipper. I got going good. The very important thing is to follow a horse that you know that can win the race. You mustn't be wide in the race. You must get across near the fence. That's very important. If you're wide, you cannot win. It's just impossible. For the first 400 metres, they go very, very fast. The main thing is not to get too far back, but to be at least midfield and close to the fence. Following the favourite of anything, you've got to know where every horse is. Very, very vital. What's going through your mind now is you must get a clear run. We're coming up to the 800 metres, and you know that there's not far to go, and you must get a clear run. From here on here, you're trying to get off the fence, looking for a run, looking to go forward, looking where the favourite is, the one you've got to beat. You turn for home and nothing else matters apart from winning. There's only one thing to win the 1993 Golden Slipper. They straighten up. You're still a bit behind them, but you want to get going now. From here on in, you've got to chase everything. Nothing else matters. We're 200 out. We've got them covered. Every winner I've ridden is going to win here. Hopefully it'll be the same. An amazing feeling. You're going to the line. You're going to get up. You're going to get up. And you got up. You've won. Unbelievable. You'd start to have tears. Tears are coming down your eyes. Money means nothing. It's the fact that you created history and the glory. And it's an amazing feeling. And I could do this over and over again. The 1993 Golden Slipper. Hopefully it's been won by Danger. And if it is, it's my fifth. And it is the ultimate race, a buzz. Everyone else is congratulating you. Tears are really coming down your eyes, and you try not to be emotional, but it's pretty hard not to. You've won the greatest race in the world, the Golden Slipper.
Well done, Shane. Good job. And imagine how he'll be if he wins his fifth slipper on Danger. He was emotional enough just thinking about it here on Tuesday morning. Ken Callender has a very interesting guest, trainer of one of the top runners, Justice Prevails.
Yes, John, with me is John Hawkes, and he's been very kind enough to talk to us at this moment. Getting butterflies now, John?
Not really, Ken. It is an exciting moment, but, you know, I'm sort of, well, I'll be there tomorrow morning, win, lose or draw.
And what were the instructions to Jimmy Cassidy on Justice Prevails?
It's basically been left to Jimmy, but just trying to stay out of trouble in the first 600 metres if possible. Get back in the field a bit and then go forward from the 600.
Who'll get up in the irons first, Jimmy or you?
No, I think it'll be Jimmy, I think.
Good luck to John. We might see you in the winner's circle.
Thanks, Ken.
Johnny Hawkes, a trainer of the favourite at the moment, Justice Prevails.
Well, we've had a chapter of incidents before the race. Already one of the runners loosened a plate a little earlier. Now we learn that Rosa's Image has a broken bit, and she has been returned to the stalls for a new bit to be fitted to the bridle. So not without incident, the pre-race parade. We have about 7 minutes remaining, and the runners, or most of them, are on their way to the barrier, and we'll be back shortly to bring you live the 1993 Tooheys Golden Slipper. Yes, well, that's the trophy that every racehorse owner in Australia dreams of having on his trophy shelf. The glittering Golden Slipper, plus $2 million in prize money to complement it. Well, Ken, most of them are behind the gates. The late comers, namely Rosa's Image, who had to have a bit replacement, and Capablanca, who sprung a plate, are now on their way to the gates. They have about 600 metres to go. How's the tote looking?
Well, John, surprisingly, Bint Masqué is still holding up almost at 5-1 still this late in betting. Justice Prevails has firmed. He's at 7-2. Let's look at them. Number 1, Justice Prevails, $4.60 to be exact, return for $1 investment. 7-2. Jetball is at 20-1, 100-1 Pride of Rancho. LA Glen almost at 40-1 now. Moss Rocket has stayed solid, although he's just getting out of fraction now towards 9-1. Danger is continuing to ease a little, still short of his price in the betting ring. He's at 7-1. Keltrice, TAB number 7, is at 8-1, getting out towards 9-1. Sportsworks at 100-1. Land Speed Record at 80-1. Number 10, Capablanca now at 60-1. Rock Review, TAB number 11, is just under 6-1, coming in towards 11-2. Star of Novell, TAB number 12 at 9-1. Bint Masqué is showing 5.50 now into 9-2. Still pretty good odds. Gem of the West is at 14-1, 100-1 Fitting, 50-1 Rosa's Image. John, I'm sure there's a few butterflies over there at the start, perhaps even with Mick Dittmans, the champion that he is, on Bint Masqué.
Thanks, Ken. No doubt about that. The hype, of course, in the last 2 or 3 days, Golden Slipper euphoria, has been mounting. It gets to everybody, certainly to the jockeys, to the trainers, the owners. Just imagine the jitters and the butterflies that are being experienced right at this moment by the trainers and owners sitting in the grandstand. You know, the jockey's job is quite a different one to that of the trainer and the owner. At least he's out there with something practical to do, something physical to do to try and keep his mind off the nerves. But the owner and the trainer, well, the trainer in particular, his job is done. He's been doing his job for 3 months or more. It's now out of his hands completely. He's just got to sit in the stand and hope for that lucky run that Golden Slipper winners must have. Mick Dittman, of course, is on the favourite Bint Masqué, and earlier today Ken Callender spoke with the champion jockey and asked him exactly what goes through the mind of a jockey before they jump in the Golden Slipper.
I'll be is trying to keep them fairly nice and quiet going into the barrier, because it's important that they're relaxed in there, get them standing good so they'll jump good. A lot of tension, a lot of things flashing through your mind. You're mainly hoping that they just do everything right, because you know if they do one thing wrong in the barrier and they miss a kick slightly, well, their chances make it very hard to win.
Okay, Mick Dittman riding Bint Masqué, favourite from the dreaded outside starting gate. I mean, it's hard enough to win a Golden Slipper. It's even harder when you draw towards the extreme outside of the field. Now, the barrier stalls are about to be locked into position, so they are going to run late. Most of them should have been in the stalls by now. We have a minute to the advertised post time, and they're just now closing up the gate, so it would be at least 2 to 2.5 before they're on their journey. As Ken pointed out, the holdings on the tote combined on and off course in New South Wales, Win Tote is holding $2,455,173, and the place tote $1,415,070, and that is New South Wales alone, the combined on and off course pool. So goodness knows what the race is holding all over Australia. Now, Rosa's Image has the dubious honour of being the first into the starting gates for the 1993 Tooheys Golden Slipper. Keltrice Edging up towards the gates with Pride of Rancho and LA Glen. And Rose's Image appearing to walk in, but is now backed out. There are club's colours on Land Speed Record in pink with green armbands and a green cap. Ken Russell on Jet Ball. Ken has ridden in 2 or 3 Golden Slippers in previous years. He is one of Australia's best respected jockeys, a native of Monto in Queensland. In fact, he rode for many, many years on the Gold Coast. He won a Brisbane Jockeys Premiership before coming to Sydney 6 or 7 years back. He was initially invited to Sydney by Rosehill trainer Dr. Jeff Chapman, but since then Ken has become connected with other leading stables, a great rider and a wonderful ambassador for the Australian racing industry. And I, for one, would be delighted to see him win the Golden Slipper on the Jack Denham trained Jet Ball, who also has to contend with a wide gate. Now, LA Glen has moved up. Jet Ball is going up to a wide barrier. Keltrice moves in. Justice Prevails approaching the stalls. Danger going up. He looks to be sweating a little. Gem of the West is just a wee bit stirry. Well, Shane Dye has ridden 4 consecutive Golden Slipper winners, but Ken has a bloke who's also ridden 4 Golden Slipper winners. He knows a bit about it too.
That's exactly right, John. Nobody's ridden more Golden Slipper winners than Ronnie Quinton. All the boys would be nervous now, Ron.
Yes, they'd be firing on all cylinders now, Ken, just before the start.
What do you think of? You've got to jump clean, got to jump clean?
Oh, definitely. You've got to get a fast start. Even if you're going to get back, you've still got to get a fast start and try and avoid a little bit of trouble in the first 200. And then around the first turn, you've got to avoid the trouble again if you're back. And then coming up the turn, you need a bit of luck.
Ron, quickly your tip.
Oh, I hope Justice Prevails wins because a mate of mine owns it, but he got a little bit hot in the enclosure and stirred up a little bit, but he's fit as a fiddle, I tell you.
He'll be coming home strong.
He'll run very strongly, no doubt about it.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Bye, mate.
Good on you, Ken, and great to hear Ron Quinton on this special day. Ron, of course, is within weeks now of hanging up the silks and saddles to become a trainer, and I think he intends calling it quits at Randwick a fortnight from today, and let's hope that he can go out on a winning note. I know that there'll be quite a few trainers keen to give him a winning chance on that final day. Now, Moss Rocket and Sportsworks have come in. Here's Capablanca about to join the line, and it looks like Fitting is going to be the last into the stalls. Now, they're within seconds of a start in the Tui's Golden Slipper. Starter Billy Dale coming over now towards the rostrum to release the field. Now, the last couple have moved up, and they're all set. Stalls open, they're away in the Golden Slipper. There's a great start, and Bint Masqué on the extreme outside is about the first out. Jet Ball and Moss Rocket began brilliantly with Rose's Image and Gem of the West. Rock Review is away quickly, the rider trying to get in closer, followed by Sportsworks, and back midfield when they settle, Star of Nouvelle. Keltrice on the fence, racing a little fiercely in the early stages. Rock Review is now dropping back to be midfield. A gap then to Land Speed Record from LA Glen. A mile back, Pride of Rancho, followed by Capablanca. Danger can't go, he's back third last on the fence, followed by Fitting, and Justice Prevails as absolute last. To the turn, 500 to go. Moss Rocket is taken to the lead. Bint Masqué second, Rose's Image third, followed by Keltrice. Jet Ball can't get on the track, and then Sportsworks and Gem of the West, and well back Star of Nouvelle, followed by Rock Review and Capablanca. Danger's in front of about 3, and Justice Prevails as last. Moss Rocket is in front at the 300. Bint Masqué the first to go after him. They're a mile in front of Keltrice and Rose's Image, followed by Jet Ball, but it's Bint Masqué. Mighty Mick drives the filly to the lead, Bint Masqué, and she is straighting them. Look at her go. Bint Masqué coming away to record a brilliant slipper win. Justice Prevails down the outside has come from last to get second. Sportsworks is third. Fitting has run fourth at big odds. Then Moss Rocket, followed by Rose's Image. Danger never got in the race. Further back, LA Glen. A gap then to Keltrice, Pride of Rancho, Jet Ball, Capablanca, Rock Review. Then Gem of the West, and the last couple are Star of Nouvelle and Land Speed Record in the Tui's Golden Slipper for 1993. And Mick Dittman, the enforcer, wins his third Golden Slipper.
And how do you stop champions? Lee Friedman absolutely elated there. The Sheikh has come over, didn't actually get a seat. We've got a camera to show you his emotions later in the day. But Mick Dittman sent the filly Bint Masqué straight out after Moss Rocket, and well, there was only one horse in the race from here, and you lot watch this Glamour filly go. She's now won 3 from 4, side by the champion Masqué, himself a winner of the Slipper, and she pays $5 a win and $2.30 a place. There she is, steaming to the lead. Mick had to use the whip in his left hand, but he actually slowed down near the line and sat up on this Glamour filly who wore TAB number 13 saddlecloth. Now, Mrs. Freeman
in the Golden Slipper.
Lee's mother, congratulations, Mrs. Freeman. You must be a very proud woman at this moment.
I am. I have been for a long time, and this is really something. It's
well,
fun.
Melbourne Cups and Golden Slippers, I suppose even a mother didn't dream of this sort of success.
No, I certainly didn't. No, it's just fantastic.
And of course, the boys grew up on your husband's stud down at Yass.
Yes.
And
yes, he'd be very proud of them. I'm doubly proud for him too.
Thank you very much indeed.
Great. Thank you.
Mrs. Del Freedman, the mother of the Freedman boys, the fabulous Freedman brothers, who had the winner of the 1993 Golden Slipper Stakes, Bint Masqué. And here with me now is Anthony Freedman, who was the Sydney manager for his brother Lee. You must be a very excited man, Anthony.
Yeah, it's right up there, Ken, with all the big ones, and certainly as good as a Melbourne Cup.
They tell me that you rang Lee up a few months ago and said, I've got a filly here who just might win the Golden Slipper.
Yeah, well, you know, we didn't do what we'd normally do with the horse. She's only had 9 weeks' work, and thank you. And she's just extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary.
When did you start the cheer?
Oh, about 50 metres out, I was starting to get a bit excited.
Good on you, mate. That was Anthony Freedman, who, with his brother Lee, helps train the mighty filly Bint Masqué, who won the 1993 Golden Slipper Stakes. John Lee has gone out with the Sheikh to lead their filly back in. I'll throw it back to you for a moment, I think.
Again, and I'll welcome the winner back. Bint Masqué is a chestnut filly by Masqué from Eau de Toile, is raced by His Highness Sheikh Rashid bin Hamdan Al Nahyan, trained by Lee Freedman, who has won the Caulfield Cup, the Melbourne Cup, the WX Cox Plate, and now the Golden Slipper Stakes in one of the most freakish winning seasons enjoyed by a trainer in the history of racing in this country. Now here is the time, 1:08.88. It's a new race record, breaking Terce's record, and it's dashed close to a course record, 1:08.80, held by Royal Handout, so they're only 0.08 outside a long-standing course record. And of course the mighty Masqué, the sire of the winner, won this race in 1982. Officially fourth in the Golden Slipper is, and a surprisingly good fourth, number 15 Fitting, and fifth was number 5 Moss Rocket, and the official sixth for Superfecta takers was Danger. 13, 1, 8, 15, 5 and 6. And Shane Dye, who has been in the position that Mick Dittmer is in at the moment for the past 4 years, today is the forgotten hero. Shane is just one of the boys today. He's out there offering his excuses or post-mortems to the owners and the trainer of Danger, but you can't win all the time, and if he never rides another Golden Slipper winner, he has certainly established a record that may well remain for the rest of history. We're going back to Ken Sutcliffe, who no doubt enjoyed the excitement of the Golden Slipper as much as we did.
Yes, well done, Tappy. Lovely call, and what a terrific horse, Bint Masqué. Congratulations to Mick Dittman. He is some jockey, but what about the Freedman family? They are the first family of racing in Australia right now on what they've achieved in the last 12-18 months. The 1993 Slipper has been run and won, but the 1993 Kellogg's Nutrigrain Australian Surf Life Saving Championships are still hotting up. We'll take you.
Racing. And that was a great start. Pride of Rancho drops off early with Justice Prevails and Fitting, and Bint Masqué is just the leader. Moss Rocket is going up very quickly, and so's Rose's Image. Jet Ball in the firing line. Then Gem of the West, and right up there around them goes at this stage, making ground, Killtree through on the inside. Sportsworks is dropping back a little, and now Moss Rocket goes to the front. By the 800, Moss Rocket, by 2 Rose's Image and Bint Masqué, Jet Ball, Killtree. Gem of the West and Sportsworks followed by Star of Newville and Rock Review. Then LA Glen, Pride of Rancho, followed by Capablanca, Land Speed Record. Danger's a long way back. So too is Fitting, and Justice Prevails is last. Around the corner, the Nova Castrian, Moss Rocket leads the way. 2.5 lengths, Bint Masqué and Rose's Image from Killtree, and then Gem of the West, followed by Jet Ball and Sportsworks. Here's Bint Masqué out after Moss Rocket, who's under the whip, and Bint Masqué in the twinkling of an eye raced away from Moss Rocket. A long long margin to a wall of horses, including Fitting and Sports Works, but it's all Bint Masqué. Justice Prevails flies, but Bint Masqué beat Justice Prevails. Sports Works third from Fitting, then Danger Moss Rocket, followed by Rose's Image, LA Glen, and then came Keltree's Jet Ball, followed by Pride of Rancho, Star of Newville, Rock Review, Capablanca, Gem of the West, and Land Speed Record at the tail of the field.
Number 13, Bint Masqué, 5:10, 2:20, 1 Justice Prevails, 1:90, and 8 third, Sportsworks showing 23:80.
Number 13, Bint Masqué, ridden by L. Dittman and trained by the all-conquering Lee Friedman, has paid $5 even for the win and $2.30 for the place. Number 1, Justice Prevails, ridden by Jim Cassidy, has come from the tail of the field to get second, $2 even. And third placing will be number 8, Sportsworks, a stablemate of the runner-up, ridden by Michael Evans. And the dividend will be, for number 8, $22 even. The winner, Bint Masqué, by Masqué from Eau de Toile, raced by H.H. Sheikh Rashid bin Hamdan Al Nahyan. Another Group 1 success for this freakish racehorse trainer, Lee Friedman, and another Group 1 for this freakish jockey, and I would say without doubt the best in the world, Elle Dittman. The breaks went her way early. They really spread out coming down the side of the track. And Justice Prevails, well, you couldn't have shot him with a 3:03 700 to go. He has absolutely produced wings over the concluding stages.
Right, number 13, Bint Masqué, winning the Golden Slipper Stakes. We have correct weight at Ascot for 2, 5 and 4.
Ken Callender.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ken. A little bit of a letdown after the Golden Slipper Stakes, but punters will be betting on races all throughout Australia today. And the first leg of the Daily Double in Melbourne is the Country Cup, an exciting race, and we've got the early Victorian TAB prices. Number 1, Time of My Life, is at 6 to 1. High Waters at 30 to 1. Hoodlum is at 5 to 1, well in commission, to be ridden by Neville Wilson. Tribe is at 20 to 1 chance. The West Australian Troy Jackman is riding him, although Troy seems to be riding mainly in Melbourne these days. Favoured Boy, Peter Mertens at 20 to 1. Starfleet Command, Norman Weymouth at 10 to 1. Mick Ash is at 30 to 1 chance. Regal Adam is a 33 to 1 chance. I've tipped Rich Substance. He'll be ridden by Michael Clark. He's at 3.5 to 1 or 7 to 2. Amy Nida is a 15 to 1 chance. Good Place at 33. A very big field here. Persian Tattoo at 33 to 1. Toby's Alley at 12 to 1. Opposing Miracle at 25 to 1. Smiling Idol is a 50 to 1 chance. Hawks Peak is at 16 to 1. Mr. Narcissus at 30 to 1. And Charged is at 50 to 1. The emergencies, Hidden Shore and Prince Belvedere, were not required. And as we pick them up there, we can see they're just going into the barrier for the running of race 5. The horse I've tipped, Rich Substance, has won his last 3 starts and is in absolutely sparkling form at the moment. He'll get well back in the field, but charge home. And if you're looking for Rich Substance, he races in blue and red diagonal stripes with yellow hoop sleeves and a yellow cap. Time now to cross to Sandown for the first leg of the double.
They'll soon be set. Hawks Peak still on the move. Special call to all our friends on the Gold Coast who looked after us so well at the races last Saturday, particularly Pat and Dawn Murray and Brian Murphy, all the folk up there. We're looking forward to seeing them on Winfield Gold Coast Cup Day for their big meeting on the 19th of May. Field just about set now. Sandown Country Cup. Very open betting on the race. Rich Substance, about 9 to 2 would be the favourite. Bit of movement towards the outside. Hoodlum, the inside runner. Time of My Life standing and well overdue for a win. There's the light. They're off. Great start too on the outside. Smiling Idol, one of the first to begin. McCash got out smartly, and so also did Mr. Narcissus. And Starfleet Command showing speed with Persian Tattoo just in behind them. Time of My Life followed by Regal Adam, getting away smartly towards the inside as High Waters, being followed closely by Hawks Peak over on the outside of Opposing Miracle. A length and a half further back than his Charge, being followed further away by Hoodlum, who's over on the inside, well back to Rich Substance and Favoured Boy. And they were being followed next by Tribe, who's a long way out of his ground, followed by Emanida and Toby's Allies last. fast in a strung out field. Now Good Place takes the lead coming down the hill, 1,000 to go by a length to Persian Tattoo. A length away High Waters over on the inside of Regal Adam, being followed closely there by Opposing Miracle. They were followed next by Time of My Life, who's up in that leading group, and McCash is on the outside, followed by Starfleet Commander. Mr. Narcissus, Hawks Peak behind them, Charge being ridden along. Well back in the field then at that point, Smiling Idol, Favoured Boys a long way off the lead, followed by Hoodlum, and back behind them over on the inside to Amanita, and Mr. Narcissus is last of all. Toby's Ally well back, coming up to the home turn. Persian Tattoo had raced up on the outside to take the lead from Good Place, and just in behind them, High Waters looking for a runner. Deeper on the track is Regal Adam. Here comes Time of My Life in the centre.